Hello, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm starting my second part of the series of me rereading the Hunger Games series before the new film, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, comes out. And in this vlog, I'll be reading Hunger Games Catching Fire. And if you haven't watched the first one of me reading the first book of the series, The Hunger Games, make sure you go watch that now. I think that it's like so sad and so cute at the same time when Katniss says that her old house, not her Victory Village house, her old house is still the real home to her, not her new home. And it's just so cute. Hello, so I am back. It has been a few days since we last spoke, and we haven't spoken a lot during that day because then I got busy studying for my law exam. Just got it back today and I did really good on it. So that's all good news. So we're going to pick up where we left off. I feel so bad for Haymitch going through the withdrawal from there being a liquor shortage in District 12. And I feel so bad for him. But it's so sweet of Katniss to stockpile in her house so he doesn't have to go through withdrawal again. I just feel bad for him, much like he even has to drink that much anyways. It's just so sad. I just got to a part in the book that goes along with what I was saying earlier. It says, I hunt, he bakes, Haymitch drinks. We have our own ways to stay busy, to keep thoughts of our time as contestants in the Hunger Games at bay. It's so sad. I'm staring into the snake-like eyes of President Snow. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Oh yeah, by the way, I am sporting my snake earrings for the Hunger Games, for the new movie coming out. Imagine how scary it would be coming home to your house and just President Snow just being there. And then he just threatens you and your family and threatens Gale. This would be so scary. I could never. I also love all of the snake references he makes with the chapter of Katniss and President Snow talking with each other. So I just got to the part where Katniss is looking at Prim in a dress for her interview for the team, and then she actually sees Prim as Rue, and then she sees Prim with the spear in her. It's just so sad. It's like having to deal with that for the rest of your life is just so much, and I feel so bad for Katniss and Haymitch and Peeta and everyone else that had to go through the games, and everyone that has died from the games, and everyone that has to live with being the victor of the games. It's just all so sad. He's still looking out for me, just as he did in the arena. Somehow the thought makes me want to cry. Same Katniss. Peeta is so sweet. Peeta. He just apologized for how he acted on the train at the end of the games and how he was angry how she had feelings for Gale previously. Even though how he said, like, you know, things happen in the games and he shouldn't hold her to that. Peeta. And then Katniss apologizes. They're perfect. Let's start with something more basic. Isn't it strange that I know you'd risk your life to save mine, but I don't know what your favorite color is, he says. A smile creeps onto my lips. Green. What's yours? Orange, he says. Orange? Like Effie's hair, I say. A bit more muted, he says. More like sunset. My heart. Cinna comes in with a pretty orange frock patterned with autumn leaves. Think how much Peeta will like the color. Imagine how sad it is to see the Capitol people drinking the drinks that mix them. They're up so they can continue eating at the feast at the Capitol. Peeta said, maybe we were wrong, Katniss. About what? I asked. About trying to subdue things in the districts. Peeta knows what's up. He knows what needs to happen. And he's not afraid for it. slay Peeta. It's not necessary. My nightmares are usually about losing you, he says. I'm okay once I realize you're here. I think it's really cute how Madge and Katniss are becoming closer friends now. I wish they kept that in the films. I can see why they didn't, because you need to cut some things out in the films, but it would have been fun to see her give Katniss the pin. Imagine just wanting to save your sister. Like, that's the whole reason why Katniss volunteered, to save her sister, to go in her place. And just imagine you going through all of this, and then you find out you started an actual rebellion in District 8, and they're fighting back against the Peacekeepers. And then Gal's like, we need to join on the rebellion too, we need to start it. And they're like, no, I don't want this. Because as someone who has caused it, imagine what that could do for you. Because all you wanted to do was save your sister. You didn't want to become this symbol of love, the symbol of hope, this symbol of rebellion for anyone else. You just wanted to save your sister. And now you've become all of these roles to these other people. They either need to act out or dismiss. And each one they act out or dismiss has their own consequences. And it's just like so hard to go about it. And imagine all of that weight on you all of the time, let alone the trauma from the games, just all added on top all together. One thing I have noticed is how hard it is to put the Hunger Games books down. Like, I read a lot, obviously, and it's just so hard. I just keep reading it. I've been noticing, I'm like, oh, I'll finish this chapter and then I'll be done, and then I'll go back, and then I don't go back after the chapter. So now I'm forcing myself to go back to the dorm. Good morning. It is the next day, and I'm about to pick up where I left off from last night, and that is right as Gail was getting whipped by the new head peacekeeper. Madge just gave Katniss her mother's pain vials that she uses when she's in pain to help Gail. And that's so cute. I love Peeta so much. He is so cute. When we're outside, I turn to Peeta. You go on back. I want to walk by the hob. I'll go with you, he says. No, I've dragged you into enough trouble, I tell him. And avoiding a stroll by the hob that's going to fix things for me, he smiles and takes my hand. He's all in to go with Katniss, to be with her through everything. And he's so sweet and kind, and it just warms my heart so much. It's just so sad what the captain's doing to them. All the kids are starving. They all sign up for tesserae, but half the time the tesserae doesn't even get delivered on parcel day. The food gets showed up rotted with bugs in it. They close the mine. When they open the mine, they extend their hours and make them work in obviously dangerous areas. Even the richer people enter shops and leave with no food because there's major shortages. So I just got to the part where Katniss meets the people from District 8 traveling to District 13 because they think people from District 13 are living underground because they did things with nuclear weapons there. So Flavius, Octavia, and Vinia are at Katniss's house to get her ready for a photo shoot of the wedding dresses. And they just made a comment how they haven't been able to have seafood for weeks because of District 4. And so that means that District 4 is starting to rebel as well. Imagine just getting out of the games, and then the next year you have to fight in the games again, and you're like, well, for sure I'm going to die this time because it's with the existing pool of victors. It's just so sad, and I feel so bad for Katniss and Haymitch and Peeta and Finnick and everyone else. See, even now in the quarter quell, Peeta's asking Haymitch to let him go in and fight to continue to protect Katniss. Katniss just got back to her house from drinking at Haymitch's, and her sister and mom are helping her. I'm trying really hard not to cry right now because Katniss has to go back. She has to just face all of that again. I know it's bad too because all the victors had it. At least they had a couple years of quote-unquote freedom, and Katniss barely got any because she's just been so hammered down by everything about convincing Snow, about protecting Gale, about protecting Prim. There's all so much, and I feel so bad for her because, again, all of this is happening because she just wanted to save her sister. That's all she wanted. And now she has to deal with all of this. I think it's so sweet that Effie wants to get them all something gold to symbolize them as a team. I'm just so sad right now. So sorry if I'm not enthusiastic. I'm just so sad that they all have to go through this again because they don't deserve it. No one deserves to be in the Hunger Games. I love that in the book we get to see Haymitch's game and see how he played it and see how he won. It's really interesting. I like how they all three also bond over it. Just kind of odd, but still. And I love how just odd that arena was during the quarter quell that Haymitch was in, with like the squirrels and everything being poisonous. I don't know, it's just really interesting to see a different game, even though we're about to obviously see another different game, but it's just cool to see other games than just the one that we read in the first book. It's so sad that Katniss thinks of herself better used dead to be used as the symbol of the rebellion, because she thinks that, you know, if she dies, they can use her death as a way to spark more of the rebellion and use her face on things. And Peeta is more valuable alive than she is. And how she says, because he will be able to turn his pain into words that will transform people. Peeta, so what should we do with our last few days? I just want to spend every possible minute of the rest of my life with you, Peeta replies. Come on then, I say, pulling him into my room. I think it's so cute that Haymitch and Effie canceled their training sessions for the interviews, and then Peeta and Katniss just spend their day on the roof having a picnic together. I think it's so cute. Especially too because Peeta sketches her. After a while, his hands go still. What? I ask. I wish I could freeze this moment right here, right now, and live in it forever, he says. I just let the words slip out. Okay. I can hear the smile in his voice. Then you'll allow it? I'll allow it, I say. I feel so bad for them. Like, I feel like crying again. It's just, I can't explain it in words, but my heart just hurts for them so much. Because all the victors feel just like mass betrayal because they won the games, so they should be safe from them. And all of them are friends, so they all feel a bond. So we all know what they're thinking, like they're all against this. I also love how they all come together in their interviews and just bash President Snow the whole time. It's great. So Peeta has just done the baby bomb in his interview, and it's just so funny because I was just waiting for it in his interview. He said how they got married in secret, they did the bread toast, how they do in District 12, and then he was like, maybe I think that too, Caesar, says Peter bitterly, if it weren't for the baby. I also love how all of the tributes join in hands together as like their last act of rebellion against President Snow and against the games. I love how they become a team, they've become a family through it all. Effie and Cinna and Haymitch and just their whole stylist crews, everyone, Cinna, Venya. And another part that really gets to me is when Peeta asks any last words of advice, and Haymitch says, stay alive. And that's what he said when they were on the train headed to the capital for the first games. And it's just like a mini full circle moment of where it also hits you that they're going into the games again. I still can't believe they do that to Cinna right in front of Katniss right before the games start. But also at the same time, you can believe it because President Snow is so icky. He's the ickiest of the icks of them all. The 75th Hunger Games begin. So right now, the fog just came after them and they're all running away from it. I have noticed too just how similar all the films are to the books. I mean, obviously they're not perfect because usually in films they have to cut things out, but these are like the most accurate book to film adaptations I've probably ever seen and read. It just got to the point where Katniss figures out that all the other tributes are doing anything and that they're sacrificing themselves to keep Peeta alive. I feel so bad for Johanna. They can't hurt me. I'm not like the rest of you. There's no one left I love. This whole book, I feel like, this whole book is just like a pity party for me, for all of these tributes and me just like feeling so bad for them the whole time. And also just a note too about how Suzanne writes. It's like, you just keep reading. You keep reading and reading and reading and you don't want to stop. And like, you can't help it. You just have to keep reading. She's so good at writing and keeping everything moving and keeping on making things happen and happen and happen. So you just have to keep reading. Peeta and Katniss just got done having their heart-to-heart on the beach, and how Peeta says that no one needs him, but Katniss' family needs her. And then Katniss says, I need you. Peeta just gave the pearl to Katniss. So I just got to where Katniss fired her arrow into the arena with Beedee's wire connected to it. And I have to stop reading for now because I have to head to training. But afterwards, I will finish the books. So I'll see you guys after training. Hello, so I just got back from training and walking through the downpour of rain that suddenly attacked. And I am ready to finish the book. So I have just finished the book, and just imagine waking up and there, I have no idea what's going on. Then you figure out they weren't able to save Peeta, and Haymitch and Plutarch and all the other tributes had a plan that they didn't tell you about, and they used you as a piece in their games again. But yet on the other side, the side you thought you were a part of. So now you're like really even more confused on what's happening and what's real and what's not real and what to believe and by who. And then figuring out that District 12 is no more. It's just so much all at once, and the book is just so good. The whole book, it just builds and builds and builds and builds, and then it leads you right into the next book. And I rate it 5 stars, of course. I cannot wait to read the next one. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and comment if you would like. I'll see you guys in the next video for part 3 of me reading Mockingjay.